Hey guys, before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you know that the kit we're working on in this WIP Chat is a mystery kit. We never say the title or the artist, but if that's something that you want to keep fully 100% hidden from yourself, I would advise either clicking away from this particular WIP Chat or just not looking at the screen. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pixie Sticks and I'm here with
me,
Fletcher. He did a WIP Chat with me previously and you all enjoyed it and he enjoyed it and I enjoyed it, so he's back.
Yeah, you already know me.
He mumbles sometimes. So first things first, are you ready?
I messed up.
Guys, I have been waiting for like an hour to open my Dr. Pepper because Fletcher had to finish his section he was working on before we could like film.
Well, she was going too fast.
I was going as slow as possible. I was trying single placing, I was using tweezers. Yeah, anyway.
You were going too fast.
I would have already put up a notice about this being a mystery kit, but I'm also using some paper to cover some parts that are more recognizable too. But yeah, if you don't want anything spoiled from any mystery kits, I'll just refer to that notice I put at the front of the video. And maybe just don't look at the screen.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. The first part of this video is going to be on my phone audio because my computer audio didn't start recording. But now you're on the computer audio.
Oopsies.
Anyway, this time I thought we would talk about our recent Disney cruise vacation. Yay! Yeah. I'll probably put in some clips like as we're talking or between where we're talking to show some of the images and footage I got while we were there. So I thought that'd be fun. But yeah, so we went not this last week, but the week before. The 14th of October we left for our trip, and we were a party of 12 altogether. This is like the biggest, like furthest away family vacation we've ever done. We've done camping with about that many before or more, but we've never like gone somewhere with that many. And it was interesting. It was fun trying to keep up with that many people. So, on the 13th, the night of the 13th, my daughter Sam drove up here with her boyfriend Adrian, and both them and you stayed the night at our house because we thought it'd be a lot easier to just be ready to go the next day.
I got to sleep on the Nest couch.
So our new couch, like, it makes that U shape I talked about in a previous WIP Chat, but it also has like an ottoman that fills it up so that it's like a big...
It's like the size of a queen bed.
Yeah, it's like a big bed, basically.
It's bigger than my bed.
Mm-hmm. And people fight over who gets to sleep there when there's a lot of people here. Because on the daily, my son Casey sleeps there instead of his actual room and bed. So,
it's annoying.
So when people come over, he has to actually give up his usual bed because they want to sleep on the Nest couch.
Mm-hmm. It's awkward to sleep in his room.
It's fine.
It's weird. I feel awkward.
Well, we spent the evening... Let's see, Sam did my eyebrows for me because I haven't had my eyebrows done since, like, right before the pandemic.
I do mine myself.
I mean, I'm awful at it, so I could, and I do, but it's not easy, and I don't do it well. What color am I?
I don't really care about mine looking nice. I have very thick eyebrows. I just don't want a unibrow.
Yeah, well, guys don't have to worry so much about that kind of thing. People don't care what guys' eyebrows look like as long as it's not a unibrow.
Yeah.
Girls, it's like, oh my god, you don't tweeze each little random hair out of your eyebrows all the time when you get them? You're horrible. Anyway, I digress. So... Oh, I just sent that everywhere.
What?
I'm trying to figure out what color I want to do next.
Oh.
You.
Squiggly. That one.
Okay. Can you get it for me? I can't see it. Thanks.
Yep.
Anyway, so, oh man, I left 2 in my thing. So the day of the 14th, we all met up with the other members of our party, like, partway down the road, because we all kind of live in different areas of Salem. So, we thought it'd be easier just to meet somewhere that's, like, on the way for all of us. And,
We met at Taco Bell.
we met at Taco Bell. Not the one you work at, though.
No.
So we met there and then did some switcheroo because our car was holding like a lot of people and it was just a lot more comfortable when we moved some people to other cars. And
I had to be in the very back seat and my seatbelt wouldn't unlock.
yeah, that's no fun. So the airport that we were going to use was about an hour's drive away because we don't have one here in our town that is a commercial airport, so we always have to go to either the one an hour north or an hour south. So
We went an hour north.
we went an hour north. And we got there pretty early because we wanted to make sure and make it through TSA and security and all that stuff and be there in plenty of time. There is no way we were missing that flight.
I got mod pizza at the airport.
Yeah, so once we got there, everyone kind of went and got whatever meal they wanted from one of the shops in the food court. I had like a chicken rice bowl from a Vietnamese place that was really good, but also, I mean, it was like, you know, it was like the size of a sandwich, this bowl, and it cost $17.
My mod pizza, I just got the little kid size, and it was $8, and I also got a cream soda, so I ended up spending $11. So mod pizza had a good price.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that much because I had asked my daughter Sam to go get it for me because I wasn't feeling well because we're starting off well on this vacation. So I asked Sam to go get it for me, and she did. And yeah, I gave her 20 and ended up with $3 of change.
Mod pizza was way better. I got extra sauce on my pizza.
Ew, I always get mine with like less sauce. I like saucy pizza. You're just saucy.
I'm saucy.
So, and then we still had to wait quite a bit after that, so we ended up, a lot of us were playing cards or playing on our phone or...
I played cards.
Yeah, I played cards. And then we took the infamous foot on Portland airport carpet picture, because apparently that's a thing. So we all put a foot in and took a picture. Actually, there were only 11 of us there because my daughter Raya was flying from Montana because that's where she lives. So she just flew straight to San Diego from Montana, and we flew to San Diego from Portland.
We ambushed her, 11 people all at once.
Yeah, she got there before us in San Diego, and then once our flight landed, we went down to baggage claim where she was, and she was sitting on a bench and just like surrounded her. Like all of a sudden, it was quiet before then, but then it got loud. Mm-hmm. Wow, there's like a bunch of different colors in this. I don't know where all these other colors came from.
What the heck? Oh, we must have accidentally mixed them at some point.
We must have.
Whoops.
Anyway.
We totally didn't do that earlier.
We? What are you talking about? We?
It was definitely we.
Not you.
Not me.
No. Anyway. So yeah, we picked Raya up at San Diego. The flight went fine. And then we ordered a Lyft, and we were going to have to do 2 lifts because one of them won't take 12 people. So,
Yeah, most Lyft drivers don't drive a bus.
right. So we had ordered one and it was on its way. And while it was on its way, we made our way out to where, I guess the Lyft area is in front of the airport. And all of these like Lyft drivers were already parked there asking us if we needed a ride and stuff. And we were like, oh, we ordered one on Lyft. And they're like, well, we're right here. And I'm like, well, I know, but I already have one ordered. And then after we turned them down, the Lyft driver that I had ordered, like, canceled the ride. And I was like, well, dang it. So we managed to find a guy who took half of our party, and then he came back and got the rest of us and got us all to the hotel, which was actually right across from the terminal where the cruise ships come in. So it was really cool because we could see them coming in and out. Anyway, so we got there, we checked in, and then we went across the street to this cute little, like, carnitas shop for dinner. And they had really good food. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. I thought we'd get, like, cheap little fast food stuff. Mm-mm. But, oh my gosh, you and Grandpa ordered tater tots to share.
Yeah, and I was like, you can choose whatever size you want. And he picked a large, and it was like a whole meal by itself.
It was huge, and like, I think they put, you know how those bags of frozen tater tots you get in the freezer section, those Ore-Ida bags? I think it was a whole bag of those.
It was like, they were also garlic and Parmesan tater tots.
They were very tasty. They were very well done. And then they had a lot of different, like, burrito selections and stuff like that.
I got a chilaquiles burrito.
Yeah.
It was gigantic.
Yeah, it was, oh man.
We had leftovers.
Yeah, they were really good. So we highly recommend Carnita's Snack Shop. I think that's what it's called. Or Snack Stop. One of those things.
I didn't see the name.
If you're ever in San Diego. Can you hand me the downturn arrow? Not that one, but the other. Yeah, that one. So that's what we did for dinner that day, and then we were pretty.
This one.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry, go on.
And that's pretty much all we did that night. We turned in, and because the next day was gonna be a. Oh wait, no! Did we go swimming that night? I think we did go swimming that night.
It was.
So this hotel we were staying at is called the Spring Hill Suites in San Diego. And they had a pool on the 5th floor outside, like on a patio outside, which was a really cool environment and really pretty. But also, it was overcast that day, which...
It was overcast almost every day we were in San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego was overcast, which is kind of disappointing because we come from Oregon where it's normally overcast. Mm-hmm. So we were hoping it would be a bit warmer.
Although it's been unnaturally hot this year in
Oregon. Until we came back from vacation.
And then it was rainy.
Yeah. So anyway, it was cold in the pool. And we had found that there were pool vents like every so often down the side of the pool, and we were like standing by the vents where the heated water was coming out. At least I was. The kids were fine, of course.
I wasn't cold.
They were living their best life. And then after I got out of the pool, my husband and I and my sister and brother-in-law went over to the bar that was on the same level outside, and they had cute little, like, fire pits and stuff. And so we had a drink out at the bar and chatted. So that was nice. And then we went to bed. And then the next day was the day that we had just to spend in San Diego before our cruise disembarked the next day. Mm-hmm. So, like, the 15th was a free day, and we decided to spend it at SeaWorld.
I saw the world.
You saw the SeaWorld. So again, we had to order a couple of lifts to come get us and transport our party down there, and there was a little bit of like struggle with that because we each group got dropped off at a different place. So then it was like we were waiting for the other group, and then they didn't show up, and then finally they're like, "Hey, where are you?" And they were already inside because they got dropped off somewhere else. So that was annoying, but what can you do other than rent a car, which we didn't want to do. So, SeaWorld. What did you think of SeaWorld?
I liked it. I liked the log ride.
Yeah, that was my favorite ride. It was funny because they let us. It opened at 10. The park did, but none of the rides opened till 11. Mm-hmm. So
we looked at animals.
We looked at the orcas and we saw the dolphins, which was amazing because dolphins are my favorite sea animal, and they were so cute. And then we just kind of wandered around until we found the first rides we wanted to try once 11 o'clock hit. And one of them was like this one that went like upside down and around a couple of times. And it was weird because like you had to get in and you're sitting straight up. But then when the ride starts, it like leans you to the left first, and you're sitting like that for a while it's getting everything ready. And it's just really uncomfortable to like sit there hanging with nothing to the side of you. Uh-huh. I didn't necessarily like that part of it, but the rest of it was fun.
I liked the meal stuff, the meal plan we did.
Yeah, so with SeaWorld, they had a dining plan you could add to your ticket that was only like $30 per ticket per day, but you could literally eat a whole meal every hour if you wanted to.
We only ended up getting like 2 meals, but I still ate like $50 worth of food.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the money if you're going to eat there more than one time. And we did. We ate there twice.
The first meal was better than the second.
So the first meal, it was like a little barbecue place, and they had burgers and chicken nuggets and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, it felt like the workers didn't really care to be there, and they weren't doing their best to try and move things along, and there was nobody there handing out trays like or anything.
We didn't, like, they were out of trays when we came through, so we had to hold all the food that we got.
Right, and you know, it's like a cafeteria line. You're reaching in and grabbing the things you want, and we didn't have anything to put them on, so we're trying to hold all these things. But the food was good, and once we got it and paid for it, it was good. But the second time we ate was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just because they took so long. It was a Mexican restaurant, and everybody went through and ordered their stuff, and then I swear we waited like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was timing. I made my order at like 3:50, and I didn't get my food until like 4:45 or something like that. And there were these people who were just standing at the counter right in front of where they handed out the food, and they wouldn't move even when like you came to get your food, and they were standing right in front of it.
Right. They ordered after us, so they were also waiting for their food, but everyone else had the good sense to like walk a little ways away and respectfully wait while other people came up and got their food. These people were just like leaning on the counter, and part of that I understand because they didn't have any seating. Like everyone's just standing around in this little small area. You can't go outside and pick a table because the tables were all taken, and you had to be able to hear your order. Mm-hmm. So like everybody's just standing there, and of course this was our second meal that day, so we had walked around all day, and we were all like, by then our feet were very tired, so it was just kind of a mess, to be honest, on that one.
I didn't even really like the food that they gave me.
Yeah, it was really weird because the dessert that we ordered was it was listed as caramel churros, and half of our party got regular churros with no caramel inside, and the other half of our party got churros with caramel inside, so it was really weird.
We had some people who liked one kind better, so we all ended up switching anyway.
Yeah, but it was odd. But yeah, so that was the second meal. I do recommend the dining plan if you plan to eat there, which it would be hard to like leave and eat somewhere else, so, but I also recommend if you go there, just be ready to wait a long time because they're not very efficient. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in the meantime, after we did the first two rides, the first one was that upside down one, and the second one was the raft ride, which we all loved. We went on it, most of us went on it twice, and we had a great time. We got soaking wet, very, very soaked. But after that, we like wandered towards the middle of the park where like some of the more new rides were. And a lot of our party wanted to go on this ride called the Manta. And I was wanting to go with them, so I got in line, but then like partway through the line, there's this thing where you have to sit and in like a copy of the seat, the coaster seat, to see if you fit in it, because I guess plus size people might not fit. Can you hand me the upside down tea? Thanks. Mm-hmm. So I sat in that and I couldn't get it closed. And like, yes, I'm plus size, but I'm not like humongous. And neither is my dad. And it wouldn't close for either of us. So I decided I didn't want to wait.
It was really only made for like midweight to tiny sized people.
Yeah. I decided I didn't want to wait through the whole line just to be told that I couldn't get on. So I didn't want to risk it, so I got out of the line. And my dad stayed, and he was able to go on it. So I probably could have too, but like, why put that seat there then? You know what I mean? If it isn't accurate. But one of the things is it doesn't say how long the wait is going to be. And the line itself kind of goes down underneath like an underground aquarium and stuff. So we didn't know, but it was a lot longer of a line than we thought it was. Mm-hmm. And they ended up being in line for like, I want to say an hour and a half.
That sounds about right.
It was really long. So the rest of us are like trying to stay close because we don't want to like go off and leave them for when they get out, because we didn't realize it'd be that long. But we were waiting forever.
It was a really long wait.
And then while I was waiting, I did some research online and discovered that, like, all of the newer rides, like, all the newer coasters have that same problem where if you're plus size at all, you'll probably have trouble getting on. And I was really disappointed because I wanted to ride some of those newer coasters. And, like, that's part of the whole reason we wanted to go to SeaWorld was to, like, ride the rides.
Like Everest.
Yeah.
Or is that what it's called? No, Emperor.
The Emperor is the new one. And because of how long that first line was, we barely got to ride anything else. Like, after that one, we saw some animals and stuff and got together with the rest of our party and walked to the other side of the park where the rest of the rides were. And we were able to ride one called Journey to Atlantis, which was like the log ride one, which got us soaked again after we had just gotten dry.
The line for that one was really long too, and they kept repeating the same video over and over and over.
Yeah, like the line moved through different areas, and they had the like intro video playing in all the different areas like every few minutes. So we were in line for an hour or something, and we heard this video so many times we had it memorized. Mm-hmm. And like they really only needed to play it in the final area, I think.
Dr. Max Baxter.
Dr. Max Baxter. So yeah, they really only needed that in the like last area before you get on.
Hey guys, I'm actually not Max Baxter.
So I just feel like as someone who's used to like Disney parks, Disney has it down. Like they know how to move a crowd and they know how to keep you entertained and not frustrated. And I feel like SeaWorld's not quite there yet. Like they're trying, but they're doing some things that I don't think are helping them in any way. So long story short, I guess, we didn't get to go on any other rides, any other coasters besides those, which was kind of disappointing. Part of the reason is because it happened to be one of the days where they were closing a lot of the coasters early at like 5 so that they could let in people who'd paid for like a special Halloween party, and they got to go on all the rides and stuff like exclusively, and if you hadn't paid for that, then the rest of the park was closed to you at 5. So we just left at 5.
Yeah.
We were all tired by then and stuff, so it was fine. But it was fun seeing the animals, and I think the rides would have been fun if we could have ridden them, but I don't know if I'd go back. So
There's other stuff at San Diego I would want to see if we went there again.
yeah, like the zoo or something. Yeah. So we thought this would be more fun than the zoo because we'd have the rides and the animals, but it kind of turned out to be a bit of a bust.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we went back to the hotel and swam again. Some of us. Some of us didn't.
I didn't swim that time, I think.
No, I didn't swim again because it's too cold.
I think I took a nap.
Yeah, we were pretty tired out after that. So a lot of us went back to the hotel and just like crashed till the next day.
I fell asleep at like 5 p.m.
Yeah, I fell asleep at like 6 and I napped till like 9, and then I got up and read for a while, and then I slept again till the next day. And the next day was the day we were excited about anyway, because that was the day we were getting on our cruise.
Yes, I was so excited for that.
We woke up that morning and we could look out the window from our hotel room and see the cruise ship waiting for us. It was so cool.
I got some good pictures of it.
Yeah, I'll insert those. Yeah, so breakfast both days was complimentary at the hotel, which was nice. It wasn't like the best breakfast ever, but it wasn't the worst breakfast ever.
I put away the color I was working on instead of the one you were working on.
Oh.
I still needed this one.
Can you hand me the upside down tea? I just realized I missed a bunch.
So much.
I'm talking, okay? You guys might be able to tell by my voice that I'm not feeling 100%. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video because the end of the cruise has a lot to do with that. But yeah, till we get there. I'm sorry if I have to cough. So anyway, we waited around all day until it was our call time at the terminal, which was 12:45, 1 o'clock. And then we just walked across the street, which was awesome. And successfully got on the ship.
Hi, everybody, welcome aboard.
Hello. What's your family name? Ordell and Luther. Awesome. Come on in. Disney Wonder, please welcome aboard the Ordell and Luther family.
Then we went to eat some lunch at the buffet.
Did we go to Cabanas that day?
Yep, we went to Cabanas. And this was our 4th cruise for most of us.
I don't actually know if it's 7. For 5 people, it was their first cruise. The rest of the people there had already been on at least one.
Right. And so I guess we never said who was going with us, but it was So my husband and me, and then my son Casey, and my son Fletcher, and my daughter Sam, and her boyfriend Adrian, who had never been on a cruise. And then,
Raya.
yeah, and then Raya, who is my stepdaughter who lives in Montana. And she's been on a ton, like even more than we have, because she also goes with like the other side of her family. So she's like our only platinum member of the Castaway Club, which is the club that you belong to once you've cruised more than once with Disney.
We're all silver.
We're all silver, and she's like platinum or gold or something like that.
Yeah, I think she was gold.
So yeah, so it was those, and then my dad, Grandpa Dave, he came with us, and then my sister and brother-in-law were also able to come with their family. So they have 2 sons, Quentin and Preston, and they'd never been on a cruise. So we were so excited to go with all these first-timers and like watch them discover it for the first time. Because if you've never been on a Disney cruise, it's like magic. We were just talking about how Disney knows how to do stuff, and they do cruises really well.
Mm-hmm. Although this one was the one I had the most problems with out of any of the ones we went on, I feel like.
Like, do you want to extrapolate on that a little bit?
Well, for one thing, the AC in our room was leaking, so there was like literally a wet patch on the floor from where it was like just dripping on the floor.
Yeah, but that's a minor issue to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care too much, because you're not like spending a whole bunch of time in the room.
Yeah,
typically.
but it still seems like a pretty important oversight. And our TV didn't work half the time.
That's true.
Like, we couldn't even access the safety video they asked us to watch.
That's true. But again, to me, that was a minor thing. But yeah, I see what you're saying. This cruise ship that we were going on is one of their older 2 cruise ships. It was the Disney Wonder. And we have been on the Wonder and the Magic, which are the 2 oldest ones. And then we've also been on the Disney Dream.
Yeah, the Dream.
And that's one of the newer 2. And so, like, I think the last cruise we went on was on the Dream.
Yes.
So we're probably also comparing a little bit to, like, that newer ship.
I know that was the last one because Sam still had the luggage tags from it.
Oh.
I'd say even though there were a couple of minor inconveniences, my overall experience with the cruise was positive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So was mine. Some inconveniences were less minor, but it also wasn't Disney's fault. Mm-hmm. So we'll get to that a little bit. But anyway, so day 1, we basically just like explored the ship, and there was a show that night at the theater that was like the Golden Mickeys. It was like an award show kind of play. They have Broadway quality shows most nights on the ship, so we always caught those when we could. And this one was good. We'd seen that play before, but they always change it up, so it had some new things in it.
Yeah, we always go to that one.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And then dinners on the Disney cruise are my absolute favorite thing about them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is because when you have 12 people in your group, like, there's no way you're gonna get 12 people doing the same thing all day. So it's nice at the end of the day to like go have dinner and catch up with everybody with what they've been doing all day, and like just everyone's together and stuff like that. But Disney also does this amazing thing called rotational dining, where you're assigned a restaurant. They have 3 different restaurants, and you're assigned to a different one each night. But your wait staff travels with you, and you have the same wait staff the entire time, so they kind of get to know you and what you like, and they can suggest which meals they think that you'll like the best, and drinks and stuff.
I liked our wait staff.
I did too. Another thing Disney does is they tend to hire from different countries. So our head server, or like not the head server that controls all the other servers, but like our main server's name was Aaron, and he was from Honduras. And then our assistant server, her name was Amy, and she was from Ireland. And like we had asked her at one point, because our last name is Odell, most of us, and we'd asked her at one point, hey, did that have anything to do with the fact that we got you as our server because you're from Ireland and our last name's Odell? And she's like, I won't say for sure, but I might have put in a little bit of a word or something like that. So it was really funny. It was nice to hear that accent the whole time, because that's one of my favorite accents.
Yeah. There were a lot of interesting accents.
Yeah. Lots of UK people.
Lots.
Yeah. And there were 2 from Wales, which was nice, because my first name is actually the Welsh form of Catherine. So, like, I feel a bit of a connection with that whole, like, my first name is Welsh and my last name is Ireland, so the whole British Isles I kind of feel connected to.
They claimed there was only one crew member there from America.
Yeah, and I couldn't prove that wrong. I never did see a second one, so maybe he was telling the truth. I thought he was, like, being, like, exaggerating, but I think there might have only been one American crew member.
I only ever saw one.
Yeah, so, but he was an awesome one. I think, was that Russ? I think it was Russ. Yeah,
he was at the D Lounge. I think it was the person who was doing like the karaoke we went to.
Yeah, he was really funny. I mean, they're all really funny, so. So anyway, some of the activities we did were we played bingo a couple of times, some of us, and we didn't win, but we got kind of close. And my daughter Sam and I did karaoke, and there was this game show called Family Game Time, and they were looking for a kid and a parent or older family member, and so Casey and I raised our hands, and they actually picked us to be on the game show with like 3 other pairs. So that was really fun, because it was asking, like they'd ask me a question about Casey, and I'd have to write it down on a little wipe-off board, and then they'd ask Casey the question and see if his answer matched what I had said, like what I'd thought, and then they switched us and had asked the kids questions about it was all mothers, so that was fun. We got like second place, tied for second place.
Yeah, you got like you got 2 out of 3 of his right, but I don't think you got any of yours right.
Yeah, but to be fair, like the questions they asked to be about the parents were really weird. Like, I didn't even know how to answer a couple of them.
Like, most of the kids didn't get the answers for the parents.
Right, and if they did, it was just luck.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was fun. And so, like, some of the questions they asked me about Casey were like, what is Casey's favorite part of the ship? And I said it was the swimming pool. And, yep, it was the swimming pool. And then they asked, if your child could only eat one food for the rest of his life, what would he choose? And of course I said chicken strips. And of course that's what he said. So that was fun. Mm-hmm. And some of the questions they asked me were like, they asked Casey, like, if your parent could choose any Disney movie to live in, which one would she choose? And I'm like thinking to myself, I love these movies, but I wouldn't want to live in most of those environments.
True.
So he said Beauty and the Beast, because Beauty is my favorite Disney princess. So good on him for guessing that, but I said, I was honest and said I'd probably pick Wreck-It Ralph, so I could just like live as a video game and like jump through to different video games and play them when I wanted to and stuff. I thought that'd be really neat. But yeah, it was questions like that were like, I don't know.
Yeah, none of the parents really knew how to answer that one. One person said Encanto, and that one ended up being right. But like, if you weren't a part of the Madrigal family, you wouldn't get like your own power, so you just be a normal person.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I don't know. It was kind of a weird set of questions, but it was really fun. We had fun. We did a lot of different music trivias and Disney trivias and Pixar trivias. And then we did a couple of, they called them animation classes, but it was really just drawing classes because they didn't teach you anything about how to animate, but they taught you how to draw different Disney characters, and that was fun. You and I did one that was...
Jack Skellington and Sally.
Yeah, like halfway down the middle of the paper, the left half was Jack and the right half was Sally. It was fun. Mm-hmm. Can you hand me the plus symbol?
We also did Minnie Mouse.
Yep, Minnie Mouse was the second one. It was kind of weird because the first one, I guess it depended on where they hosted the classes. The first one was 18 plus only.
It was in the Crown and Fin pub.
Yeah, it was in a pub, so I'm guessing that's why it had to be 18 plus. But the other one was in
the D Lounge.
The D Lounge, and that was for everybody, so it was nice because more of our family could come to that one.
And then there was like a silent DJ party we went to that was in Azure, so it was only 18 plus, which sucked because Casey wanted to go to it, but the only other one they had was in Vibe, which is 14 through 17-year-olds, and he's 13.
Right, so he just barely missed it. And the reason he wanted to go so bad is because that's one of the things he remembers doing from the last cruise we took 3 years ago, and that was one of his favorite things to do. So he was kind of sad he had to miss it this time, but there was plenty of other stuff to do that kept him busy.
We didn't really mention that some of us were going to it because we didn't want to make him sad.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a lot to do. And then on day 3 of the cruise was when we landed in, was it day 3 or 2? Might have been day 2.
Day 2 was technically a day at sea because day 1 was boarding day.
Okay, so day 3, yeah, was the day that we ported in Cabo San Lucas. And we actually had a port adventure thanks to Grandpa Dave. That was, it was like snorkeling and...
Kayaking.
Yeah, like snorkeling and kayaking in a private reef area of the ocean. So...
Beautiful.
It was really cool. The cruise ship can't pull up to the dock there in Cabo, so you had to take these little like taxi boats from the big ship to the shore, which we did. And then from there, we got taken over to like this place called Cabo Adventures, and it's also like a dolphin center, but we weren't seeing the dolphins, so we didn't get to see them. But anyway, they taught us some safety stuff about snorkeling, and we got our snorkels and our flippers, and then we got to go back to the dock and board this like speedboat thing, which like sorry, it didn't have any shade or anything, so it was kind of hot, and it just had like these seats.
I got sunburned.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my dead skin to fall off my back, and it's not because we weren't using sunscreen. We sunscreened a lot.
Yeah.
It's just very hot.
I underestimated the amount of sunscreen I would need. I was like, oh, I know how much I need. This will be enough.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Can you hand me the dash? Or the E? Actually, I can grab the E myself. Never mind. Anyway, so we got on this speedboat, and it was actually like a half an hour speedboat ride. We were going down south along the coast of Cabo, and we got to this little area and stopped and got out, and we were able to, like, as soon as you got in the water and put that mask on and looked, like, put your head under the water, there were fish around you everywhere.
So many
fish, and they were like right in front of you.
They would
like,
swim right up to you.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, they wouldn't let you touch them. They know how to avoid that, but they're all around you. And then we swam over to like a reef. You could almost touch the rocks down below. Like, mostly as you're looking down through your mask, it's like a 20 or 30 foot, like, from the top of the water to the bottom of the seafloor. But there was a reef where some of the rocks would come up to like 8 feet below you, and you could see other fish and stuff. And like if you were brave enough, you could dive down to that part. You just weren't allowed to like touch the reef or anything. Mm-hmm. It was just really cool. I got a little bit seasick.
I got really seasick.
Okay, I got really seasick. As it's weird because I didn't get seasick on the boat. I got seasick swimming in the ocean.
Not for me. I got seasick when the boat was stalling. Like when I got like really tired and I went to go sit on the boat, and it just made me so seasick the way it was just sitting there rocking on the water.
Oh.
But it was better when it was moving.
Yeah, once the boat started moving again, we both like sat up and were like, oh, air.
I got a little better, but I still didn't recover fully for a while.
Yeah. I got really, really bad seasick in the water. And I think it was because I was wearing a life jacket, because I've never actually snorkeled in the ocean before. And I wasn't 100% sure, like, how far we'd be going. And I just wanted to make sure and have a life jacket on just in case.
That's true. I didn't wear one, so maybe that was why I didn't get seasick in the water.
Yeah, because I'm floating there in the water, and the jacket is, like, pushing against me and keeping me afloat. But also, like, I'm trying to put my face under the water to see everything. And the water's, like, lapping against my ears, and it would go in and then go out. And, like, I think that it just messed with my equilibrium or something. So, but other than that, it was amazing. Like, really cool. I'm so glad we got to do it and see all the fish. And towards the end they had like another boat there that was like letting you take out little paddle boards or kayaks and stuff like that. I didn't do that, but a lot of our party did.
I didn't do it either. I felt too bad.
Yeah. And I'll put in some pictures. They actually had a photographer who had worked with National Geographic, I guess, and he was taking pictures of all of us as we were snorkeling and stuff. So I'll put some of the pictures in so you guys can see. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. I've been doing the wrong color this whole time. Uh-oh. My bad. Yeah, so while I remove all these, we got back on the ship and we went to another show that night at the theater, and I think that one was called, that was the Frozen one. Mm-hmm. So they basically, like, managed to do a whole Broadway show of the Frozen movie in like an hour. And it was really well done. Mm-hmm. And then we went to dinner and stuff. And then, oh shoot, come on. I'm having fun with this. What was your favorite activity on the ship?
I actually really liked the silent DJ party.
Yeah, tell me about how that went, because I wasn't there.
Well, so basically they had these noise-canceling headsets that you put on, and they had 3 different channels, which were playing, like, radio stations that you could listen to. And, there was a green, a red, and a blue channel, and, like, everybody would be dancing to different music, because we couldn't hear each other's music. But, at one point we were all on the blue channel dancing to the Cha-Cha Slide, or...
And you could see what channel other people were on because of the color on the headphones.
Yeah. And there was this one couple in the middle. It was the couple who had been together for 57 years.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to them later.
Yeah. They were slow dancing to the red channel, like, right in the middle of it.
Aww.
And if you just, like, took your headset off, everyone was just dancing in, like, pure silence.
Oh, that's
it was
cool.
really funny to watch.
I guess a fan favorite activity that we had never been to before, but we made time for this time, was called Match Your Mate. It's another of those, like, game shows. And so we showed up, and they were calling for participants, and what they wanted was, it started off, they wanted the couple that had been together for the longest amount of time, like married for the longest amount of time. And so, they were going around the room and people were saying how long they'd been married. And for a while there, it looked like the longest together couple was at like 38 years or something. They were together for quite a while. But then this other couple walked in the door a little bit late and they were like, oh, we've been married 57 years. So they were the ones that got picked. Then they wanted the couple that had been married for the least amount of time. So they're going around the room and, these people were like 1 year, and then they got to a couple that was like 5 months, and it looked like they were going to be picked. But then they asked another couple and they were like, oh, we have been married less than a week. This is our honeymoon. Mm-hmm. So they were the ones that went up. And then for the third and final couple, they just wanted they didn't ask for a length of time married, but they wanted whoever wanted to go up there the most. So they did a dance-off.
A dance-off.
So there were four different couples, and they did, they played some music and did some pretty crazy dancing, and then the audience got to pick who they thought should win. So then that was the third and final couple. And then they took the men away and they asked the wives questions, 3 different questions. And then the idea was when the men come back, they have to match the answers in order to earn points. So they asked, where was your first date and stuff like that. And it was funny because the oldest couple and the newest couple were tied neck and neck the entire time, and the couple in the middle didn't do quite as well. They still did pretty well, but it was funny because the hostess would ask these questions and then be like, ooh, we didn't hear that from her, why don't you give us a little bit more detail and stuff like that. So it was really funny. And it ended up with the oldest couple and the newest couple tying for first place. So it went to an audience vote on who should win. And the oldest couple was just so adorable that they won by a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was so cute. When it came time to for the wives to leave so the husbands could get asked questions, the old lady stood up, and they're up on a stage, so they have to go downstairs to leave. And 2 members of the audience, 2 men from the audience, stood up to escort her down the stairs because there's no rail or anything. And the host was like, oh my gosh, you guys are restoring my faith in humanity. And it was really funny. But yeah, some of the questions they asked were definitely this was this was an adult, area, but they definitely asked some adult questions, and everybody in the audience was just howling. It was so funny. So yeah, if you ever do a Disney cruise and you see that on the menu for things you can do, I would definitely recommend it. Anyway.
I saw the tail end of the show. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, so on the 4th day, we actually came into port in Ensenada, but we decided not to get off the ship that day because that happened to be the day that everything went to crap. Mm-hmm. For us. My dad, the night before, my dad had been feeling really cold at dinner, and I was cold too, so it wasn't just him, but he was shivering cold in the restaurant. And so the next day he went into the medical center to get some ibuprofen or some Tylenol because he wasn't feeling well. But they tested him for COVID and he was positive, which meant they had to isolate him in a whole separate room by himself. Everybody in his stateroom had to get tested. Luckily, they were all negative at the time. And so my dad couldn't go to dinner the last night with us or anything, and he had to just be by himself in this room, and he wasn't feeling good, and we were all worried about him, and then we were all worried that we were exposing people, so for the longest time, a lot of us stayed in our staterooms too until the tests came back negative.
We got to watch some fun movies though, because they had like free Disney movies.
Yeah, free Disney movies the whole time you were there, and our TV was working at the time.
Luckily.
So we watched movies and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer that the very last night he had to be absent from everything. And that was the night we were at Tiana's place for dinner, which is like based on the Princess and the Frog movie. And they had the whole Mardi Gras party that night with like, everyone got Mardi Gras beads, and there was like a live show, and it was just really sad that he had to miss that, because I know he'd have loved it. I'll put some footage in there from it. And then the next day was disembarkation day, when we were, getting off the ship. And the whole time, the day before, as we're stuck in the room and stuff, we're trying to figure out, okay, well, does that mean he can't fly home? Like, how is he going to get home? And we had decided that I would be staying with him, and we'd try to find a rental car. But there were no rental cars available at all in San Diego. Like, we called every single place. I even called Cruise America, which like rents out the RVs, because I was like, can we do that? But there literally was nothing that anybody could rent to us. So I'm trying to like tell all this to Disney, and they're like, well, we can't really help you with that part of it. Like, we can give you free internet for your phone so that you can look stuff up, but we can't really help you decide what to do, which kind of sucked. Like, I mean, I understand they can't fix all our problems for us, and it's not their fault if someone gets COVID, but at the same time, like, they were less than no help at all when it came to that stuff. And I'm not going to say what ended up happening with that. I'll just say that we ended up getting home and everything's fine. But like, I don't want to really go into details of what ended up happening. Anyway, as we got back to Oregon, my daughter Sam started getting sick, and she tested positive for COVID later that day. And then we discovered at the end that at least 4 of our party had gotten COVID.
I tested negative, and I've been asymptomatic the whole time, so
I have taken 3 tests, and they all say negative, but I have had fevers the past 4 nights in a row, and I have this awful cough and sneeze and like congestion, and I can't breathe very well. So I don't know if I just happened to get like the flu or another bug at the same time, but I am still testing negative for COVID, so it could just be the cruise crud people say you get, Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was really fun up until that last point where it was just really stressful.
Yep.
And as we were getting off the ship, like, they had to escort Grandpa off at a separate gangplank to where everyone else leaves, because he can't be around everyone else. So I got up extra early so that I could get in line for early walk-off so I could wait for him when they took him off. So I got through early walk-off, and I'm waiting at the gangplank where he's gonna exit, and and I see him come down, but like they're pointing at me and everything, and then they send him a different way, and I'm like, can I go with him? And they're like, no, you have to go through customs, which I had been waiting for him for like half an hour by that point. I could have been through customs and done by then if I'd have known, but there was just no communication as to, okay, this is what's going to happen. Here's what you should do. Here's where you should meet up. There was none of that. So I just felt like they didn't want to think about it, even enough to like give us tips on how we should handle it, you know? So that was a little bit frustrating.
Not the best situation we could have been in.
No, it doesn't make me like never want to go on a Disney cruise again, but it's just frustrating.
It was one of the worst case scenarios I was imagining for our cruise.
Yeah, me too. And they did actually end up reimbursing Grandpa some of the cost for his stateroom because he had to be isolated and couldn't do the activities and stuff, which I thought was nice of them considering it's not their fault, you know? So they tried. I just could have used a lot more communication in the whole process. Personally.
Yeah.
Oops. Anyway, I'm not sure if I have any footage that we didn't talk about, but if I did, hopefully I'll have put it in already, or I'll put it in now. Don't break your cups, though. Yeah, that was our trip. We flew home and that was that. And now we're back to the daily grind.
Yeah. I work at Taco Bell. I'm excited for next Thursday, though.
It's just been an hour. Why don't you talk about what's happening next Thursday?
I'm going on a date.
Date time! So, do you want to say where you get to go for your date?
We're going to a ceramics class, and then we're going to go to lunch after that. But I think we're going to wait until, like, the day of and decide somewhere close, depending on how we feel.
And this is a person you've never met before.
Yes, I've never met them in person, but we've been talking a lot.
On the phone.
Like, a lot. For hours, every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting because I think this is like your
my first real date.
First real date. So that'll be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And man, a ceramics class sounds amazing. And of course, I've already asked, does this person like diamond painting?
They said they would love to try it, but they haven't done it before.
They already knew about it before they met you, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, they haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I think I want... Where is it?
I don't know where it is.
Where is it?
What are you looking for?
The half corner thing. Oh, can you give it to me? Yeah. So you get to go on a fun date. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's something exciting coming up for me too. So once we got back, I belonged to the Facebook group for a local dog rescue. And it's a breed, it's a rescue for a breed that I have been researching because I think it's the perfect breed for our like family type and activity level and all that stuff. It's Great Pyrenees. And they had posted a couple of pictures of a dog that just, as soon as I saw the pictures, I was like, that dog is speaking to me and calling my name. And it must have been the same for Matt because I sent the pictures to him and I was like, this dog. And he was like, I guess you better put in an application. So I did. And we got approved. And so our new dog will be here on the 12th. And I'm really excited.
Yay!
His name right now is Milo, but we're thinking it's going to change to Baymax because he's a big white marshmallow. And we have kind of a Disney theme going on in the names of our pets. And yes, Milo is technically, it's also a Disney name. I just like Baymax better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it'll be Baymax. But yeah, we're really excited to get him. I also have a couple of adventures that happened this week that I want to talk about. So this will be like an extra long WIP Chat, but sorry. So our little baby snakes, they had not eaten yet. One of them ate while we were gone.
I was surprised.
I was surprised too. But the other ones have been refusing frozen thawed mice, which we weren't super surprised about because
That's what baby snakes do.
yeah, that's what baby snakes do. So we needed some live mice to, try to get them to eat, like baby hopper mice. And those you can't get at the pet store because they're too small. Like the pet stores have adult mice, but they don't have baby mice. So I had to join a group on Facebook of like Oregon reptiles to try and find a source for baby mice.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, but they were like, they're an hour drive away from me. So the Monday after we got back, I drove an hour to go pick up these baby mice. And while I was there, I figured I might as well pick up some live rats because we also have some picky snakes that are adults or youths that won't eat frozen thawed rats either. So we have to get them mice every week, like 2 adult mice. And that's not really the best for them. It's better for them to eat rats. So I figured since I was going to be down there and they have live rats, which you also can't get at the pet store, I figured, okay, well, I'll just get some live rats too. So I did. Mm-hmm. And Fletcher was at work that evening. So I had to go to Fletcher's house to feed all of these snakes by myself, which is fine, except one of the snakes refused to eat, my snake Juniper. She's a brat. Mm-hmm. And she just sat in her corner and like aggressively stared at this rat, and it sat in the other corner and like timidly stared at her. And they just stared at each other the whole time. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take this rat home and feed it to one of the snakes I have at home. So I picked it up with the tongs that we use for feeding because, I didn't want to get bitten. So I picked it up and I'm moving it from her enclosure tub to the tub that I brought him in. And this rat, like I have never seen this before. I'm holding him by the tail because you can't really put the tongs around their bellies or anything. but he literally starts going like this at the end of the tongs, just like swinging in a big circle really fast, like, I don't know, a merry-go-round or something. And he flipped out so crazy that he actually flung himself off the tongs into the closet of the room, which is where the snake rack is. And at this point I'm panicking because, like, I can't just leave a loose rat in the apartment. Like, what am I gonna do? Because it immediately went behind the snake rack where I couldn't get to it. And I couldn't, like, move the snake rack by myself because it would probably just run out from under there and go hide somewhere else in the room where I couldn't get it and maybe wouldn't even know where it was by that point. So I'm sitting there hoping it'll come out, thinking to myself, what do I do? And I'm trying to text Fletcher, but Fletcher's at work and he's not answering because
I'm at work.
And it's a very busy day.
Yep.
And I'm like, I sent this text. I know that it's going to be really funny later, but right now I'm just really frustrated. And legit, I was trying not to cry because I wanted to go home. I wasn't feeling well. That was like the start of when I started feeling kind of not great. And I'm stuck here because I dropped a live rat in the house. And I actually called Katie from Diamonds and Washi because I didn't know what I was going to do, and I just needed somebody to talk to while I'm sitting there staring, making sure the rat doesn't run out from behind there and go, like, somewhere else. And I'm, like, crying, laughing as I'm talking to her, going, Katie, I don't know what to do. She was like, well, did you think about maybe, like, sending one of your other snakes after it? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I actually did think of that, but I didn't know if that would actually be worse, because then you have a snake and a rat loose. And I was like, have you ever heard that song? There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. And then she swallowed a spider to catch the fly, but then she had to swallow something else to catch the spider. And I'm like, I don't want to get into this situation. But then when Fletcher finally called me back, the first thing he said was, you should send another snake after it.
Yep, that was the best idea I could come up with, especially when I couldn't be there to help.
Yeah.
So I had her send my biggest and most power-hungry snake.
And luckily that snake happened to be in that same rack, like right at the bottom, so I could stay where I was, open the door, let the snake out, and it immediately went to the wrong area. It went underneath the rack instead of behind the rack where the rat was trapped. And I'm like, come on, I know you could find it.
She was just under there sitting. I knew she was hungry, but she was just sitting there.
And then luckily, Fletcher, you were able to come home on like an extended 10-minute break.
Yeah, my manager let me go home.
So working together, we managed to like force the rat out from behind it, and it met up with the snake like on the side of the rack, and the snake got it like immediately.
Like, she snapped it right up.
Yeah. Which I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is great, but now I have to try and get the snake back in the rack. And of course I had to wait for her to finish eating.
And I had to leave at that point because I couldn't stay any longer.
Right. So I'm just sitting there waiting for this snake to do its thing so I could... She was great after that. She ate, and I guided her back into her tub, and she was happy, but like... Oh my gosh, it was just a comedy of errors, this whole thing. Luckily, all of the other snakes ate, even the babies, which was good because they needed to. But...
Yeah, and I'm going to try feeding them again tonight, frozen thawed.
Yeah.
I got out a couple, and if they don't eat them, I'll feed them to Henry and Keely.
So that was the beginning of me being sick and thinking to myself, okay, maybe I shouldn't try to do things when I'm sick. And then that became even more clear a couple days later when I felt slightly good enough to make some homemade mac and cheese. And the recipe called for heavy cream. And I didn't have heavy cream. So I looked up on the internet what can replace heavy cream in a recipe. And it said that you can use a mixture of butter and milk. You just have to like melt the butter, which I don't do very often, but I have melted butter in the microwave before. So I put it in there for a little bit, and it got somewhat melty, but not like melty enough. So I waited a bit for it to cool, and then I hit the button for it to melt again, like to heat up again. And 3 seconds before the timer went off, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should open it just in case it's in there too long. But I decided, oh, it's only 3 seconds. It's going to be fine. Nope. On second 2, I hear this big pop. And I look in, and there is butter covering every particle of the inside of the microwave. And there's like a teeny bit left at the bottom of the measuring cup I was using. But like all the rest of the butter is just dripping off the ceiling, dripping down the front door, dripping. When I opened it, it dripped onto the stove, which had just been cleaned that day. So I had to clean the stove again. Like, I just want mac and cheese. So I had to try and clean all this butter out of the microwave. And then, after the mac and cheese was done, I'm like, okay, finally, I have my mac and cheese. I put some in a bowl and put it on the counter, and then I got a cup out so that I could pour myself some milk to go with my mac and cheese. Instead of pouring the milk into my cup, guess where I poured the milk?
Into the mac and cheese?
Into the mac and cheese. So guys, it was just one of those times. I'm like, mistakes were made this week. I just need to go back to bed and stay there. Oh my gosh. I'm still feeling pretty bad. Like, we were supposed to record this WIP Chat a long time ago, like earlier this week, but I have felt awful. And
still pretty risky for me to be here.
Yeah, Fletcher can't miss work, so like, he didn't want to get sick. We wanted to make sure it wasn't COVID, because that would be bad. But
like, I have a hard time seeing how it could be COVID as you've still tested negative for it.
Yeah. At this point, I don't think it is, but like, I still can't take a full breath. Like, it's not fun. But hopefully I'll get over being sick. I've luckily been feeling good enough during the day to work. But by the time I'm done at work, I just like crash. So anyway, that has been the week that we've had. Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to add about our trip or anything before we end the WIP Chat?
I don't know. I'm so tired. I did an 8-hour shift this morning.
Yeah. And it's getting late now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I will say happy Halloween, everybody. I'll probably, if I get the editing done, I'll put this up tomorrow on Halloween. If I don't, then you'll see it later. But I hope you have or have had a awesome Halloween. I managed to get some decorations up today, even though I am not feeling well. So I'm glad that I will be ready to hand out candy tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's all we have for you. So thank you if you have watched this far. I know it was a long one, but hopefully you enjoyed. And we will see you guys in the next video, or at least I will. We'll see if Fletcher comes back again at some point.
At some point I will.
At some point.
I don't know if it's going to be for the next video, but...
Yeah. So anyway, everyone. Oh, these are my new nails, in case you haven't been seeing them the whole time. I really like how they turned out.
These are my old nails. They're very short.
Yeah. He can't get pretty nails like me. So, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.